Well, I think now, as a result of this incredibly courageous protest by women, men, youngsters, children, who are claiming their right to be free, the entire world recognizes that the Islamic Republic regime is the enemy of the Iranian people, the enemy certainly of Israel, but the enemy of free peoples everywhere. And I think this is a miraculous achievement. It shows the strength of the human spirit that refuses to bow down before this tyranny and this oppression. And I can only say that it arouses enormous admiration, my personal admiration, but I think the admiration of the entire world.
How do you see the regime's response to this movement? We have been observing, unfortunately, killings, arresting people, torturing, cases of rapes in prison. Executions.
Endless executions.
Yeah. How do you see the regime's response to this movement?
Well, I think the regime is terrified because they know that they've been the enemy of the Iranian people for so long. But now the entire world knows that. It's unmasked the true nature of this regime for all the world to see. They were trying to hide their true character. They had charm offensives. They had their diplomats talking about human rights, talking about Iran's unaggressive nature, its quest for peace. Now everybody understands. Not only do this regime, which is the greatest fomenter of terrorism in the world, with the IRGC, the greatest terrorist organization in the world, now the entire world understands this. And I think this is a great change. And it's to the credit of the brave people of Iran that they've unmasked this regime that has taken over a gifted, able, creative people, the people of Iran, heirs to a great civilization. And I believe the people who will make a great civilization again once they're released. But they've been overtaken by these thugs, this radical Islamist thugs, who have now been unmasked. I think the most important thing is now that everybody knows what the people of Iran have known for a long time, that this regime doesn't care for the Iranian people. This regime, when sanctions were lifted, took billions and billions of dollars, but didn't contribute anything to the well-being of the people of Iran, but only to maintain their tyranny and to export their tyranny. This is a great change, and it is to the credit of Masah Amini and to all the others who have gone to the streets, risked their lives, given their lives for the noble cause of freedom.
Yeah, and they are the heroes of Iranian people, and I'm sure the whole world. Let's get to the main part of this interview, Prime Minister. Iranians are clearly calling on international community, specifically Western leaders, Europeans, not to negotiate with a regime that kills and tortures.
Its own people.
Its own people, exactly. I'm not talking about international concerns such as nuclear program, which we will get to this part in this interview. I'm talking about basic global shared values that there are enough reasons the world should not talk to this regime in terms of diplomacy or anything else. When you meet with them, with the Western leaders, world leaders, what do you tell them about this?
Well, I tell them that there is a moral imperative, but also a security imperative. And I do touch upon the nuclear question because for such a regime to have nuclear weapons, when it's committed openly to the destruction not merely of my own country, but to the subjugation of the world, they chant death to Israel, death to America, death to everyone in between who doesn't share their values. Muslims who refuse to accept their tyrannical creed. They want to kill everyone. They do kill everyone. They threaten to kill leaders in the West. They threaten to kill and do kill journalists, dissenters, people who voice their free opinion. They want to, if they could, they will terrorize the entire world. They are the primary force of terror in the world. But imagine if they have the weapons of the greatest terror, the weapons of nuclear weapons with which they could hold the entire world hostage. So I say to Western leaders, to world leaders, I say, history will change if Iran will get nuclear weapons. And the imperative now is to free the Iranian people, both for their own sake, but also for our common security. We cannot let this radical Islamic terrorist regime that oppresses its people, terrorizes everyone else, to have the weapons of mass death. This will change history, and we have to stop it before it happens.